Hey, good morning and welcome to Moms in Real Estate. My name's Angela Fazio, and today we have another fantastic guest. Her name is Danielle Janssen. She is a fairly new real estate agent that's absolutely killing it. Can't wait to tell you about that part. And she has such a great story about her pathway to a holistic approach to life. She has an incredible story of healing. So we want to hear so much from her. Let's get started.
Angela Fazio is an industry powerhouse who has overseen 40,000 homes sold and $9 billion in production. And Kristen Cantrell is one of the nation's most accomplished team leaders, helping thousands of agents build their businesses. They are passionate about educating, encouraging, and empowering moms in real estate. Our next episode starts now.
Good morning.
Hey, girls.
How are you?
Hi, I love your intro. I'm like dancing, like getting ready for it. Getting me all pumped up.
I know Chuck did a good job with that intro. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I love it.
So I'm so excited about today. We've had lots of great conversation. I'm fascinated about some of the things that make up who you are. So just give us a little bit about yourself to get us started.
Yes. So Danielle Janssen, I live in Queen Creek. I've been an agent for just over a year. I have two daughters, Gia and Elliot, who are 5 and 9 years old. My husband and I own a local healthcare clinic here in Queen Creek as well. And so juggle a little bit between both businesses and the kids. And in a nutshell, that's what I do and who I am. So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more. I feel like your first year is like really awesome because I feel like you kind of did it all on your own. And your first year in real estate in the Arizona market, you did 4.5 million in production, which is really impressive. So like, how did you do that?
You know, I feel like I had a little bit of a launch pad, if you will. So we started our healthcare clinic here in the East Valley 8 years ago. And we had no budget. We came, it was my husband and I, we didn't know anyone really in Arizona. We literally showed up at farmers markets, door knocked. We did it all because we had nothing to start and we had a baby and we were like, okay, sink or swim, let's go. And so we worked 12-hour days, like all that grit, everything we had to do to learn business without coaching or really anything, that just translated into everything else we do, right? And so what it also did was all those connections really helped me because people saw us as thought leaders in a health community here in Queen Creek and the surrounding area. And those people started coming in as clients and trusting us and getting to know us. And so whenever we have something going on in our life, like when I decided real estate school, it was like, oh my gosh, how can we support Danielle? Or they'd see me studying at the clinic or, you know, being a part of my journey. And so the trust is already there. So I feel like that started my client base. And that's really my sphere of influence in my people because they already know us. And I get to, and one of the things people don't know is, yes, I have a brokerage office, but I actually work out of my healthcare clinic office 3 days a week because I'm sitting in my sphere and I get to connect with those people every day. So sometimes I say I'm not really a full-time agent. I'm more of like part-time, but I'm really in my influence more full-time, right? Between the two, my home office, my clinic office. And so that definitely helped having that business catapult my next phase in my next business. It was almost like as soon as I got done, I had people ready to go.
So I love that. That is the perfect introduction to our conversation because I literally talked to, and so does Kristen, hundreds of agents. And one of the things, you know, they come to me for advice. How do I get better in real estate? And my go-to thing is 96% of real estate agents pretty much ignore their center of influence, just pretty much ignore them. And so if you just have wrap process and procedure around taking care of your center of influence and communicating well with them, then you could be in the top 4% by default, even if you suck at everything else.
Right. Yeah. And I think for new agents, one of the hard things is finding a center of influence, or maybe they just need some mentorship into what that is. Maybe they're already a part of, you know, whether it's a church group or a mom's group somewhere else or a fitness class, what have you. You just need to connect in a little bit more. And you also need to be telling everyone that you are an agent, you know, and that was one of the things that purposely well, it was my time I had, but I would study and be taking my tests. And if I didn't do well, I was sharing it as a part of my journey. Like just being vulnerable with people and allowing them in, they gravitate towards you more. They want to support you. They know you're just a regular person. And so I made that a part of my journey because I didn't want to be like, hi, I'm Danielle turned real estate agent. I'm cool with doing that. But I also thought, well, if I could organically, just drip in what I'm doing in my next phase of my journey, then people might organically want to come to me a little bit more. So
I noticed too, I went into Danielle's clinic the other day and she has her listing signs up next to the front desk, like not like, oh, hey, look at me. But it is definitely smart because people are going to look at that. It was like one of the first things my eyes went to, maybe just because I'm in real estate, but it really did go there. I think that's intentional of you.
It definitely was. My girlfriend Tess Daly had made me this really great sign. She's an agent too, that, that like a sold sign with my name on it too. And so I had that behind there for a little bit. And then I had these new listing signs made and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to drip this here. And I thought about maybe in 2021, I put my decal on the door too, my storefront. It's that fine line between, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm forcing anything on them because they really are truly coming there for my husband. I'm just kind of stealing some of those people. Right. But it's just one of those things that I want people to know I'm there to support them when they want it. And if we don't tell people what we do and who we are, then they'll never know. Right. Yeah. And I don't want my ego to get in the way of someone going to someone else because I was too shy or bashful or didn't want to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, I'm here to support you. Or if you need me, I'd love to work with you.
That is wise advice. You have to be overt about what you're passionate about. Some people say, oh, that Angela, she's nothing but a recruiter. Yes. I love to recruit and I love to help people build their business and I'm passionate about it. So I am not shy at all about letting people know what I do. I love it.
Right.
That's so true.
And I think in Arizona, do you feel like there's I hear people that say, oh, you're an agent. No, there's so many agents here. Like everyone wants to go be an agent, and it's true. There's a lot, but I think some people retreat from wanting to share like, I jumped on the bandwagon because it's almost like this negative connotation or something. It's like, no, it's awesome. Yeah.
Be proud of what you do. People are attracted to that.
Right.
That's true. I have a lot of new agents too that are like, well, I'm not a salesperson. And I'm like, listen, like you've got to embrace what you're getting into. And being a salesperson is not a negative thing, but you look at it like a negative thing. So you have to change your mindset. But they automatically think like, like when they think of a salesman, they think of like a car salesman or people that they don't. But no, like people do business with people they like and trust. And going into your clinic, you guys are obviously offering amazing clinical work, but you're also able to say, okay, well, I also have this service that I offer. So I think it's great. I can literally I can't wait to share this episode already with somebody who has a successful business that's struggling to understand what to do with her current business and sharing that she's a real estate agent. So I'm like so excited.
If anyone out there has another business, you need to be dripping on it or you are missing out.
I was actually just thinking of Heather Dill and like that idea about putting your listing sign where the business, that is genius. Wouldn't that occur to me?
That's cross market all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. It only makes sense.
even in my monthly newsletters, right at the very end, I'm always like, is your home ready to evolve? Our business name is Evolve. So, I mean, you have to be in this day and age, there are a lot of different, companies or people that, someone could speak with. So it's all about who do you resonate with the most. So it's not just throwing your brand out there, but also like trying to build a connection or rapport with them too. So, and those are the people I will say I'm more of that referral agent. I have never taken, cold calls. I don't have any lead programs that come to me. They're all people that I know or someone that I know's, cousin or mother or somebody that says you have to work with Danielle. And, it worked out for me. Maybe I could have had even more sales if I would have had, some of those lead services or whatever. But for me, I love the connection with people, or I have to build a connection with them. It goes both ways. And I think sometimes as agents we'll take whatever we can get. And it's like, you also want to make sure these people aren't depleting you, or, you can have that rapport connection with them too, because that's how you go the distance, right? Sometimes other agents I feel like might get burnt out if you're constantly just taking whatever you get and, ground in the pavement.
I think that you're constantly like looking at like being happy and like not stressed out, and like you take care of yourself. And so you like, that's something that's awesome. And you've really implemented into your business. Like you can tell that's huge. So of course, something you don't like.
Right. And it's all about that balance. And trust me, we did not have that. Day one, it was like, oh my God, this person will come in right now. Let's do it. Like it was all fight or flight. Right. And you can go so far with that, and then you will emotionally and mentally and physically start to dwindle. And so I think, and I have a great reminder, I have my husband that's very supportive of that. And the moment I start to go like fight or flight or not supporting myself, he's like, hold on, And so I think, just FYI, we all need someone like that in our life, whether it's a friend, a mentor, whoever it is, spouse. But because of having that other business first, it really helped me go, okay, when I start my real estate company, my business, I want to make sure that I'm keeping a balance, because what I bring into myself is what I'm going to give out. And if my clients can sense that I'm overwhelmed, stressed, have a ton of other clients and deals going on, they're going to be like, is she working for us or her? Like, so I wanted to be conscious of that.
Well, I think you have to back up a little bit for our audience to fully understand where you got wise in that area in your life, because your testimony, your story of incredible healing and the drive toward a holistic way of your business and your life. If without that background, you just sound like you've always been amazing.
Oh, far from it. So, okay, I'll try and give you the short and sweet version here. So I am from a small town, Superior, Wisconsin. People think I'm Canadian all the time. I'll take it. I'm that far north. And you'll hear my O's and A's and all that good stuff every once in a while. And sometimes I feel like with small towns, you consume a small thinking pattern, right? Like where you're at within yourself and how far you can go in life and all that good stuff. So in business now, I really try and harness that, and I'll catch myself slipping, and then I have to like check myself, pivot, right? But that's today. Going back at about 8 years old, I was a pretty sick kid. I was in and out of doctor's offices with lots of different digestive things going on. And by the time I was about 14, they diagnosed me with an autoimmune disorder. It was Crohn's disease. And so I had quite a struggle growing up. And I was in and out of clinics, hospitals, 27 pills a day, giving myself, pull back syringes of injections, and outpatient cancer centers for IV treatments every month. And that was my journey. So I was a very ill kid. And then I had met my husband when we were 14. We dated through high school. And he got to be a part of that journey with me and was like, someday I'm going to do something to help you. I don't know what it is. Hospitals and stuff made him like eerie. He just didn't like the smells, or, he's one of those ones that can't handle like blood or seeing anything like that. So at that point in our life, we had no idea how that would translate. But fast forward, my journey to health and healing was the holistic approach of what we do in the business we have now. So my story, when he saw me virtually get healed through chiropractic, and stop all my medications and my treatments and, everything that they told me I'd never have kids and all this stuff, and now I'm thriving in life, it set him on a journey to, okay, I need to do this for other people too. Because I watched Danielle go from, nothing to something. And so, and I got my life back. And so one of the things that's so cool for us is we have a business that we are so passionate about because it's our story, it's our journey. And when we tell people we can help them and serve them, we genuinely, we're there with them, And so we believe in this innate intelligence, this healing. We believe it's God that is within us, right? It's what creates a human being in 9 months. We all have that potential. It's just sometimes we have so much stress in our system, our nerve system, that we can't heal the way we were supposed to, right? So once we start moving that interference through the adjustment process, we were all designed to thrive. We just need to allow it. And so that's what we do at Evolve. And my journey kind of led into that. And now it's so cool because we get people all the time that are like, we heard Danielle's story, or my daughter has this, or my son. And, and we get to connect with them on that level and just be right there with them because it was our journey.
I'm obsessed with that story. I love the idea that God created us to self-heal and that there's interference with that. And that sometimes there's something you can do about it. I love that.
Yeah. And it's so simple that it's complex for some people, like I think we're just indoctrinated to think like we need another pill, another treatment, surgery, whatever it is. But look, we all have our nervous systems, right? It's what keeps us alive, and it heals and creates every cell, tissue, and organ in the body. And if we are not supporting our nervous system by self-care practices, by dripping inward to ourselves, it will unravel, and it's a matter of time. And so I think with my business, I'm always like, ooh, I can feel myself. And I think part of it is when you start doing self-work, you get a little bit more aware or conscious about your internal meter of like where you're at. Like, ooh, I'm on the nerve of an anxiety attack, right? Or oh, I'm just like so stressed out. My stomach's starting to get crazy. And as agents, we are constantly in a fight or flight response, right? Like, it's like you have nothing going on, and then there's 5 deals at the same time, and they're all completely different. One's fallen out of escrow. The lending, team is behind. It's constant. And so I think it's checking yourself in those moments, because if we continue to work like that in that fight or flight response, we will have a dis-ease process. It's just being disconnected from our body. So, yeah.
Hear that sound in my house?
No. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I do. I hear it.
I can't.
It's like a cow mooing sickly.
Wait, there's a cow?
No, they're doing construction downstairs.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Oh, God. Sorry.
Oh my God. I have to tell you the funniest thing. When I was in the clinic, I had I don't know, pulled my back out or whatever when I was working out. And so I told Danielle I have to come in, and I sat down with her husband, and he said like, how are your stress levels? Or I kind of laughed. I go, I've been stressed out since I was in 2nd grade. Like literally, I cannot think of the time where I have not been stressed out. And he was like cracking up, but I'm all, you're probably gonna need to be adjusting.
Right. And I think it's cool too, like with being in moms, right? Moms here in real estate, we have children of all different ages, right? And just noting that kids can have stress too. Their perception systems are so different. And so just checking in with that, right? Because what we think is stressful, and then we're like, oh, honey, like, especially if they're a teenager, you're like, you're stressed out. What are you stressed out about? Like you don't have a job, you don't have, bills to pay yet. But their stress, their perception, their reality of life is just checking in with that, because it's so different, right, than ours. And they carry stress within their bodies, their shoulders, their back. Anytime we have anything going on, whether it's being bullied or, they feel uncertain or just nervous, they're going to store that. Our nervous systems are a diary of our life. And so I think knowing all that has helped me transcend my business, because not only do I know it for myself, to serve my clients at a higher level or better, I also can read it in them. Like I can see like, ooh, they're getting contracted right now. Like this is really nervous for them, or they're uncomfortable with this, So I do think that that's helped me connect and to be able to, continue to have a great relationship with my clients.
I can really tell how much you care for people, and that just makes my heart sing. I like how you do it in your practice, and that you translate that over to your clients. And you even talked about something that's so wise about perception. You're right, kids, everybody has a different perception. And so we just not judging people based on why are they stressing out, but just speaking to them on how to help them. Right. I can tell that's your heart. I love it.
I definitely hear the cow at your house now. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait, I wanted to say something too that I thought was really interesting that you put down on your questionnaire. So, when you're asked what your hobbies are, like typically somebody's going to tell you like, they like hiking or they like whatever it is, right? And your hobby is actually real estate, and the way that you explain it is so great. So will you tell everybody what you were talking about?
Yeah. So this kind of came up because my husband, when we first had our clinic going and I had quit my full-time job, I used to be a director at a university, the one he went to his doctorate school in Atlanta. And I would put on speaking engagements and CE seminars for all the doctors. And so I was pretty burnt out because I was working a lot to get him through school. People say all the time, are you a chiropractor too? You know, I learned how to speak the lingo and I say, no, I'm a PhD. And they're like, PhD? And I'm like, no, putting him through. Like I worked to support us because he couldn't work. We had no money. So that was my journey. And I was like on planes all the time, raising a little baby. Gia grew up in the chiropractic school. And so I just knew that I wanted to pull back. And chiropractic was never, although it healed and helped me, it was never my profession. Like I knew I wasn't going to go be one myself. And so when I had to, because flying back and forth to Atlanta to Phoenix was just getting hard with the time change and raising little ones, I said, okay, I'm going to stop doing that full time. We're going to build our business. At some point, I want to step out to find me again, right? And so again, kind of being consciously aware of like, I'm losing myself a little bit here. I got to get back to what lights me up, right? Because we can serve at a higher level if we have an internal fire. And sometimes we need to be reminded to drip on that a little bit. And I think as women with children, we get complacent. We're like, okay, we got to be the spouse. We've got to raise the kids, get them to this sport or whatever. And we forget what actually lights us up. What is a hobby of ours, and making sure that we do it. We show up for ourselves. And so I got to a point a few years ago where I was able to step out of the clinic. We had an office manager and I was like, all right, full tilt. I'm working out 2-a-days. I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm running. I have never been a runner. In fact, when I had all my digestive issues, they told me don't run. It like jiggles, your organs too much. It's not good for you. So I was like, no, I'm mastering that. And so that was my journey. And I'm like, we lived in Power Ranch at the time and I'm running around and I'm staring at houses and I'm like, ooh, that's for sale. Wonder what that would go for. And all of that, I was always talking about real estate. And then we go on date nights and my husband's like, we're driving and I'm like, oh, look at that building. What do you think they're going to put there? Oh, let's go look at these model homes. And he was like, will you stop? You're always talking about real estate. And if you're not talking about it, you're watching shows on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am. And so it was at that time that I was like, I genuinely like that. Like, this is a hobby for me. I love that I get to step outside. Two things. I love showing up and connecting with people at my healthcare office, but then I get to go do something for me, which is like looking at homes, whether it's commercial space, residential. I just love talking it. I love seeing people get excited about it. I just love going through models, any of it. So to me, it is a hobby. And I think it's because it was a later in life, found love. It's funny because growing up, my uncle and aunt owned a Remax brokerage in Wisconsin. And I actually did work study in high school. After I would shred papers in high school to get out of school early. And never once were they like, you should be a realtor or, and I never I was like, I don't really understand it. Like, it's gotta be really hard dealing with contracts and, homes and stuff. It never clicked for me. And I think my parents say to me now, they're like, oh my gosh, what would it have been like if you would have just started real estate at 18, forget your college student loans or, going to get a business degree. Like, what if you just did that? And I was like, honestly, that would have saved me a lot of money, but I was in school debt, right? But I was like, that it would have never translated to a passion project or like a hobby, because then it didn't feel like a calling. It would have been just something I had to do, a job to show up as. Plus, real estate in Wisconsin, where I live, is a little different than, the Phoenix market. So I don't know if I would have loved it as much. We don't have luxury homes up there, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cool because I feel like, when we are like moms and showing up and taking kids to sports or whatever, and you have two very active daughters. So, and a husband with a business that you're, very much a part of, like, it is so important to take time for yourself. And it's awesome that real estate ended up being that for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
Sounds like elephants.
Yeah, now
there are elephants in my house. Well, I've got to tell you that I am so compelled to learn more about your practice. I'm so compelled to learn more about you. You've been transparent and interesting, and I'm so grateful that we got to talk with you and know you some more on the show. Yeah. I've got a comment. I'm going to share this one.
Aw.
And that was
Aw,
kindly.
so sweet.
I think she needed to hear that. So
She
you've already
did.
done
Yes. Hi, Nicole. If I can resonate with anyone, everyone's journey is different. And, prior to this, I was like, I hope I can there's one person that, something I say can resonate with them, or if someone's struggling out there, let me know. Please reach back out to me. My handle's there for you to follow me or connect. I love it. If I can be of anyone's service, or if you have questions, reach out.
Yes, please. Danielle, thank you so much. Of course, as always, thank you, Kristen. Don't pop off when we end. If you guys out there know anyone who needs to be a guest on Moms in Real Estate, reach out to Kristen or reach out to me and let us highlight another amazing woman. So thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.